Town of Islip will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 7, 2024, on the following applications at the times listed or as soon thereafter as they may be reached. At such time, all interested parties will be given an opportunity to be heard. Application number 262-24, Carl and Constance Ponticello. Permission to leave pool patio having side yard of 5 feet instead of required 6 feet. Residence B District 278 Cluster, north side of Greenbelt Parkway West, 1,379.93 feet south and east of Shadow Grove Lane, Holbrook. When you hear your name, if you could just come up to the podium. Sorry. All the way from the back. I should have said that earlier.
Yes, I am. Yeah. I am.
Carl Ponticello, 639 Greenbelt Parkway, Holbrook.
Just here on the pool patio.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions from the board on this?
Nope.
Planning, do you have any comments? Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? I'll take a motion, please.
Make a motion, we approve the application.
All in favor? Application's granted.
Thank you.
Application number 263-24, Paolo and Luigi Strada. Permission to leave roofed over deck having rear yard of 23.1 feet instead of required 25 feet, and shed having rear yard of 1.6 feet instead of required 2 feet. Residence AA District, southeast corner of Crestwood Road and Gilmar Court, Bohemia.
Paolo Strada, 8 Crestwood
Put
Road.
the microphone up.
Paolo Strada, 8 Crestwood Road, Bohemia, New York. 117.
Leaving, so you hit on the two items you put the back in the shed?
Yes.
Nope.
Nope. Anyone else would like to be heard in this application?
Motion to approve the application.
All in favor? Application is granted. Have a-
Thank you very much.
Application number 264-24, Vincent and Deborah Arma. Permission to erect one-story addition, 13.5 by 14.8, resulting in floor area ratio of 26% instead of permitted 25%. Residence A District, north side of Simmons Drive, 323.31 feet west of Country Village Lane, East Islip. Is anybody here on the application of Vincent and Deborah Arma? Oh, we're kind of cool.
Call.
Quickly here. Application number 265-24, William and Jessica Lamora. Permission to leave shed number 1, having 1 foot behind the front line of the dwelling instead of required 20 feet. Shed number 2, having side yard of 1.7 feet instead of required 2 feet. And pool patio having side yard of 2 feet instead of required 6 feet. Residence B District, north side of Kirk Avenue, 323 feet east of Woodlawn Avenue, Ronkonkoma.
Hi, William Lamora, 36 Kirk Avenue, Ronkonkoma.
Okay, are any of these sheds movable?
Excuse me?
Can you move any of these sheds?
No, they're in the ground. They're on certain spots, and the front shed is, I don't have a garage, so that's why the front shed is near the front of the house.
Lanning, do you have any comments? I mean, the one shed. One foot behind, I mean, if you're actually looking forward up there.
No, as a board, we don't have a problem with the shed that. Up. The one that's 1 foot, the closing part, is 20 feet, it's probably like 1 foot.
Yeah, and I understand. I just don't have a garage. It's where I keep my snow blower and snow removal stuff. And in my neighborhood, there are other sheds that are in the similar area.
You want to give us their names?
I don't have them on me. I just see them from driving around. Sorry.
But you're lucky in that perspective.
I really don't have any place else to move that. I have other work, and there's paving work and grass work that I just wouldn't be able to move it. That shed's been there for several years now.
How many years?
5, 6 years at least, maybe even longer. I don't recall when exactly.
Whole backyard. But don't have that.
Yeah, I just put a pool in. So,
Why did you guys have this guy picked up?
yes, yes. Yeah, but they're on things that we can't move. They're,
So correct me if I'm wrong, the issue isn't so much that you don't have anywhere to put it or that it's unmovable, it's that you need it there.
I really do need it there. You know, there's no place else for me to, I wouldn't want to move to the back of the yard to get my
Well, we have denied hundreds of them, so that's our problem.
Yes, but I also do think that, you know, for the necessity of where it is, I don't have the space in my dwelling, and it's really not that visible from the front. It's not an eyesore. I know my neighbors,
We denied two applications.
I just really don't have any place else to put my stuff. The shed, yes, the shed was put there. Because I don't have a garage. If I had a garage in the house, I wouldn't need that shed
How long have you owned the house?
since 2013.
Did you close the garage and make it?
No, it was previous to me.
Make a motion to reserve.
All in favor?
It needs to be notified another day. We're gonna discuss this in private, make a decision. You have to hear from us.
62 days. Okay.
Or up to 60 days by law, that's the maximum.
Okay. Thank you. Is that on all the matters or just on that front shed?
All of it. We decided all together.
All right.
I'm seeing no one if there's an issue.
Okay.
Application number 266-24, Carlos Montenegro and Angelita Real. Permission to leave one-story addition, 9.5 by 12.3, having front yard of 23.1 feet instead of required 25 feet. Residence B District, south side of Veronica Street, 600 feet west of Coates Avenue, Holbrook.
Hi, good evening. My name is Marcela Granada. I'm here representing Carlos Montenegro and Angelita Real.
Okay.
Sorry?
And you're here just on the one-story addition?
Yeah, it's a vestibule measuring 118 square feet. It's pretty small.
Any questions from the board on this?
No.
Planning, any questions or comments? Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? All right, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve the application.
All in favor?
Thank you. Good evening.
Application number 267-24, William and Kimberly Thompson, to renew and transfer permit for accessory apartment to subsequent property owner pursuant to Islip Town Code Section 68-616 and 68-618. Residence AA District, southeast corner of Schneider Lane and Atlantic Place, Hauppauge.
Hi, William Thompson, 3 Schneider Lane, Hauppauge.
Good evening, Mr. Thompson.
Hello.
Who will be living in the apartment?
Who lives there? My 30-year-old autistic daughter.
So this was scheduled for a public renewal, which is normally a renew and transfer if there's no objection
I
from
bought
the.
a house for my aunt.
Oh,
and
okay.
So we just,
Okay,
she moved out, we moved everywhere.
okay. It seemed as if it was a family member, and she used to renew the apartment
Correct.
every 3 years. I think her.
Dolores.
I think in 2004 or something, her renewal expired.
Yep.
So I scheduled it for a public renewal so we could just see if there were any issues because 20 years has gone by since it was.
Mhm.
You intend to now have a tenant in the apartment?
No,
No.
just my daughter,
Oh, your daughter?
my daughter.
Okay. Okay. It could have been a family use only as well, but if you want to continue it as an accessory apartment, that's fine also.
Just like that.
Any other questions from the board? Planning, any comments? All right, is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? I'll take a motion then.
Make a motion, we approve the application for a period of 3 years.
All in favor? Application is granted.
Thank you.
Yeah, and he made the reservation.
She's making up for lost time.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. Application number 268-24, John Salvaggio. Permission to erect one-story and second-story additions, leaving side yard of 10.75 feet instead of required 14 feet. To leave enclosed patio attached to detached garage, resulting in side yard of 5.7 feet instead of required 10 feet, all having floor area ratio of 25.02% instead of permitted 25%, and to leave driveway on side property line not having a required setback of 4 feet. Residence B District, south side of Rose Street, 448.67 feet east of Lincoln Avenue, Sayville.
Good evening, John Salvaggio, 12 Rose Street, Sable.
All right, so we've got,
I don't know.
any comments from the board on
Why do
this?
you look at me with?
Why not? Planning, do you have any comments on this? Is there anyone else who would like to be heard in this application? No, all right, Ed, I'll take another motion.
No, it's Dan. Don't give away Dan's territory. Yeah, try to see what you do.
All in favor?
Aye.
Application is granted.
Thank you very much.
I give it to you.
Application number 269-24, Miguel and Beatrice Tenazi. Permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code, Section 68-602, having gross floor area of 827 square feet instead of permitted 800 square feet. Residence A District, west side of Julia Goldbach Avenue, 300 feet south of Peconic Street, through lot to Sycamore Avenue, Ronkonkoma.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mugurel Tanase. I live in 2129 Julia Goldbach Avenue, Ronkonkoma.
Good evening, sir. Does anyone have any questions on this, just to the accessory apartment size?
Nope.
No. Planning, any comments here? No. Is there anyone else who would like to be heard in this application? All right, I'll take a motion then.
Make a motion, we approve the application for a period of 3 years.
All in favor? Application is granted.
Thank you.
Application number 270-24, Estate of Patricia D. Gray, Lucinda Sloan Cadigan, executives. Permission to leave shed number 1 having front yard of 6.6 feet instead of required 20 feet, and rear yard of 7.5 feet instead of required 10 feet. To leave shed number 2 having front yard of 7 feet, and shed number 3 having front yard of 16.6 feet instead of required 20 feet each, and to leave decking having rear yard of 9 feet and second front yard of 10.7 feet instead of required 15 feet each. Residence BAA District, northeast corner of Cranberry Walk and Central Walk, Fair Harbor.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Charles J. Broody, architect, representing the estate of Patricia Gray. As stated in the call, we would like to have permission to leave the existing sheds and the existing rear deck with non-conforming front yard setbacks and side yard setbacks. In speaking with Planning Department, there are a number of precedents already in the area. And I just handed up some photos of the sheds that are unseen from the streets from Cranberry, behind a lot of foliage.
You mean not visible?
Not, okay, not visible. Thank you. Beyond.
Flood rains of sheds.
Unseen.
Flood rains of sheds.
Yeah, just to agree. Anybody else like to be heard in this application?
Make a motion that we grant.
In favor?
Aye.
Application is granted for the shed.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Application number 271-24, Matthew Kavanaugh and Brooke Seymour. Permission to erect second-story addition 28.3 by 34.7, leaving front yard of 24.5 feet instead of required 40 feet, side yard of 11.8 feet instead of required 14 feet, and floor area ratio of 31% instead of permitted 25%, and to leave shed having side yard of 1.2 feet instead of required 2 feet. Residence A District, west side of Richland Boulevard, 80 feet south of Chenango Drive, Bay Shore.
Good evening, Matt Kavanaugh, 1340 Richland Boulevard. Bay Shore.
All right, do we want to update the call?
Yes, so today we noticed that an amendment is necessary. Nothing major on your application. It's just that the roofed over porch that's proposed has to be included.
Okay,
The plans mixed up the specifications between Residence A and Residence B zoning, so
okay.
Uh, So we'd like to ask the board to include two things. The roofed-over porch, which will need a front yard setback of 20 instead of the required 40. And then additionally, the second-story addition, because it's not a permitted encroachment, because this is not B zoning, but A zoning, the second-story addition needs a front yard of 23.1 feet instead of the required 40.
All right, so I'll take the motion to add that, to modify the call accordingly. Motion. Second? All in favor? Aye. So the call's been amended. Now, do we have any questions?
Do you have a survey of, I don't think.
Is it folded up inside?
No, okay.
Area hall with 30.
Now, is anyone else that would like to be heard in this application?
Aye.
Okay, just go.
Thank you.
Application number 272-24, Deborah Sesto Santo, permission to leave shed having 2.8 feet behind the front line of the dwelling instead of required 4 feet. Shed having 14.6 feet behind the front line of the dwelling instead of required 20 feet. Patio having rear yard of 1 foot instead of required 4 feet, and 4-foot fence having front yard of 0.2 feet instead of required 10 feet, and located within driveway site distance triangle where prohibited. Residence B District, southeast corner of Carnation Road and Foxglove Road, West Islip.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Christine from Accurate Expediting. Need my address? 286A Belmont Avenue, West Babylon, New York. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. We're here tonight for a variance as stated in the call of the hearing. The sheds are behind a 6-foot fence. I don't know if I should say unseen, but the side and rear yard setbacks are within the required requirements of the town. The patio in question is on grade and was an old dog pen. The portion of the fence with the site distance request is situated as such where there is plenty of site distance due to the length of the driveway. There is also a stop sign on Foxglove, and cars coming up on Foxglove would already be cautioned when approaching the stop sign. You can see clearly that the fence does not impede any site distance from the photos I have provided. If granted, we would agree that if the fence was ever to come down or be dilapidated, that that portion in the site distance be moved to accommodate. We feel if granted that it would be keeping with the nature and character of the neighborhood. We feel the variances sought are not substantial and that it would not cause an adverse effect to the surrounding neighbors. Although the hardship is self-created, we feel it's not a substantial request. I would like the board to consider granting the application.
That's within our. Go to 11,500. Yes, it is.
Just that I don't agree with that. Site distance triangles are measured from edge of the pavement, so it doesn't have to do with like. The fence itself is otherwise.
So we figured it out, that they could actually put it on an angle if it wasn't granted. But I went there today and actually like I pulled the car out, I took the picture through the car. There's plenty of sight distance. It's not blocking at all, actually. Well, it was actually, yeah, see all that? That's like the length of a car. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, there's a whole clerk's office full of them.
And yeah, you could definitely, the car, like I did it today. I actually went there today with the car and you could see, I actually put the window picture in with the pictures. You could see both ways.
It's just a corner, right?
If you denied it, I would have them move it, yes. They would agree to that. Of course. We're kind here.
Corner, yeah.
And if it were to come down, we agreed if it would dilapidate or blow down, we would put it in the correct spot.
I don't really have nothing. Make that motion.
Aye.
Thank you.
Oops, stronger glasses. Oh, my. Application number 273-24, Nicholas and Julie Marizito. Permission to install in-ground pool leaving front yard of 16 feet instead of required 27 feet, and pool patio leaving front yard of 15 feet instead of required 22 feet. Residence A District, northeast corner of Hobart Street and Tracy Lane, East Islip.
Hi, Nicholas Marizito, 127 Hobart Street, East Islip.
All right, just here on the pool setback,
Yes,
patio.
correct.
Any questions from the board on this?
No.
You answered?
Oh, I thought you said.
I'm glad you don't have.
Right.
Glad you don't have.
Congratulations.
That makes
Planning?
it easy for you.
Good. Right.
Glenn, do you have any comment? Either one of these?
The front yard setback is a bit more than like it is difficult on a corner property. That we don't really have.
Is the pool for the kids?
Of course.
The two boys, they're
That's it.
anxiously awaiting us to get home.
They'll use it twice.
Is there anyone else who would like to be heard in this application? No? Take a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to grant. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Application's granted.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, look at that. Look at that, you guys. This is a first. I'm ahead of schedule.
Well, if they're not here, then.
Gee, you know.
We have a second call for 6 o'clock.
Oh, we do. Has anybody arrived on the application of
Number 3 there. Vincent and Deborah.
Vincent and Deborah Arma, 264-24? How did they not come? Such a minor variance, too. Oh. Actually, you know what? That architect called today and he said he's going to come and visit.
26.
Huh. All right, well, he's half an hour late, yeah.
Well, we can hold on to it because it comes.
Okay, so we could, let's see. You want to renew our accessory apartments and our two-family?
Sure.
Okay.
Time to do that.
So we have a request to renew 11 accessory apartments and 1 two-family, family use only for a period of 3 years.
A motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, let's see.
Filibuster.
Oh, yeah, I have 6:30.
Ask if the kiddos are here.
7.
Always, I see this one application.
If you want, I can read it to the end.
Let's do that.
Yeah, because we gotta get out.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, guys. Here you go. I'm gonna do this one.
Okay. Does Nick get one too?
No, he doesn't need it.
You might be intrigued. Application 47-24, Jorge Cabezas. In accordance with a proposed written decision dated May 7, 2024, the application is denied as to the shed and the wall and granted as to the remainder on condition that the roofed-over entrances never be enclosed. On motion of,
All in favor?
Aye.
application number 139-24, Bayshore Terminals, Inc. In accordance with a proposed written decision dated May 7, 2024, the application is granted. On motion of,
All in favor?
Aye.
Application's granted.
all right. You want me to read slow?
Read slow.
All right, let's do it.
Use a couple of ums.
Application number 274-24, Mario Marin. Permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code, Section 68-602. Is anybody here on that application? Okay, great. You're waiting for your representative? Okay.
Second call.
And Tom is here, yes. Application number 275-24, Gary Gunderson. Permission to leave second-story addition 7 by 30 irregular, leaving side yard of 9 feet instead of required 18 feet. Residence AA District, west side of Willoughby Street, 100 feet north of Ralph Avenue, Brentwood.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thomas Bloor, the architect for the project, 60 Carlton Avenue, Suite 202, Islip Terrace, New York, 11752. The intent of this application is to legalize and maintain the existing second-story rear addition. We're requesting an existing side yard setback of 9 feet instead of the required 18 feet. The side yard setback of 9 feet is to the existing home. This home is an existing 1.5-story cape with an existing second floor. The existing ridge is approximately 22.5 feet from grade. The proposed is directly in line with the existing and extends the second floor approximately 7 feet into the rear yard over the existing first floor footprint. And the addition is just a rear shed dormer, so there's no increase in the existing ridge height or the appearance from the street. If the board should have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Correct.
Nope.
Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Going to go back to Mario Manin, application number 274-24. Permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code, Section 68-602, to leave roofed-over cellar entrance, resulting in floor area ratio of 26.7% instead of permitted 25%, and to leave 4-foot fence in sight distance triangle where a maximum height of 3 foot is permitted. Residence B District, southeast corner of St. John Street and Cordello Avenue, Central Islip.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening, board. My name is Robert Ramirez, 990 Motor Parkway, Central Islip, New York, 11722. I am the agent working with Mr. Mario Marin. And we are asking permission to establish this accessory apartment. Also, the roof over the cellar entrance is a little more than 26.7 instead permitted 25% FAR. And also to lift the fence 4 feet height in the triangle in the front of the street.
Lenny, you have any comments on this?
This is right. This is the old fence. Right now.
Fence.
I'm sorry, sir, did you?
No, the fence is a vinyl right now.
He's telling you it's good.
You're telling me it's not a chain link fence?
It is.
No, it's a vinyl right now. Right.
Oh. Oh,
I'm looking at it, it's a white vinyl fence.
yeah, that's 2018, that street view?
Those pictures show it's a.
Pictures show it.
It's haunted health from the site.
The same height. No, it's the same height.
Out there, bud.
Yes. Perfect.
But it's one of those scalloped ones.
Let's.
As long as the pickets don't seem too close together. When did the pickets? I don't know. There used to be an attempt to.
Do you have photo there?
Yes, they have the
As long
photo.
as it was more than, wait, hold on. It was something like 85% open. Right.
How can you tell?
That was an attempt to do a chain.
Still don't think it's, at least partially, like it's 4 feet at its highest point.
And it's not at the corner of the intersecting streets, it's at the driveway again?
It would be here, it's, I don't think it's that.
It's kind of close. The other one is like that.
It is.
It's a little closer. The other one was. Yeah.
That was solid though, right? Yeah, solid and taller. The issue here is I don't think the photograph is very good to tell us the sight line.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we asked them to provide the photos of the accessory apartment, all 4 sides of the house.
Yeah.
What about here?
A little leery about.
I know, but at least we'll see the right of way depth. Because the right of way depth, as we've noted before, sometimes when it's excessive right of way, we're more inclined. Like you said, a whole car length can fit.
This looks like.
Probably no, see that whole worn walkway, that's, I think it's minimum 8 foot.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Wow.
Right. This is outdated.
Yeah, that looks better.
It's,
End of the day, you think it's fake. Not like a chain. I can see it being that.
See the dimension.
Can you do the same on driveway?
In the driveway, like this?
yes.
Yes. Right. We can do that. You're saying this corner, right?
Yeah.
The same as you did on the corner, can you do that on the driveway corner also?
Okay. Okay. Good.
A little bit.
En forma de triángulo en esa esquina.
Un triángulo.
En forma de triángulo la fence. Yes, we can do that. Okay.
Correct.
Motion to deny the site distance portion of the application for site distance. To approve the rest.
Second.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a blessing night.
You too.
Application number 276-24, SIG 888 LLC. Permission to install HVAC equipment on roof resulting in building height of 86.66 feet instead of permitted 35 feet. Business 1 District, southwest corner of Veterans Memorial Highway and Lincoln Boulevard, Hapa.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Peggy Kelly. I'm with Kelly's Expediting. My offices are at 2150 Smithtown Avenue, Suite 5, Ronkonkoma, New York. I'm here on behalf of SIG 888 LLC to request a grant that was previously given in August 6, 2019, application 574-19. The application tonight will address some of the town of Islip code changes that have taken place since that application, as well as clear up some misinformation that may have been understood at that application. The equipment that we are asking to raise is existing AC unit, condenser units on the roof have been there since 1988. We are not raising them any higher than the original application from 2019. We need to go between 4 and 5 feet in order to accommodate bringing the ductwork into the bottom of the AC units instead of into the side. That's the reasoning for the increase. What has been determined now by the zoning department and the building department is that we are an encroachment with these units and being on the roof. Initially, I think it was understood that the 70, or actually 69-foot height that was in the prior application of 2019 included the AC units and the screening. Unfortunately, it does not. These buildings were built in 1988 with a height actually of building 1 and 2 of 70 feet. And at that time, the Town of Islip Code did not require in the definition that rooftop units or any type of equipment being put on the roof was part of the height of the building. So with that, when these buildings were built in 1980, a screening of 14 feet 8 inches surrounds these units on the building. With the raising of the HVAC equipment, we will exceed the height of that screen in approximately 2 feet, which gets us to the 86.8 that's requested tonight in this application. I did not handle the application in 2019. The determination of whether the units were part of the height or not, apparently they thought it was. It is not. Zoning has now agreed that it's not, that we need a new variance for an encroachment. Sure. Building number 1, the one that's in the front, the rounded building that faces, it's all office space. Most of the space is either lawyers, a lot of it is dime bank, but this is 3 5-story office buildings. Allowable height back in 1988 when they were built, we went to 70 feet. We would have been allowed under next. Okay. We could have went to 110. The buildings were built, the building was built at 70 feet.
What was the maximum allowable height?
And that's what I'm trying, 110. The,
Let him try. I tried to figure out.
that's okay. That's right.
In speaking with zoning, it was 35, but there was provision in there that you could have an additional foot of height for every 2 additional feet setback from height. So this being approximately 90 feet from Veterans Memorial Highway, 70 feet at the time was conforming. It could have gone beyond that. It was built at 70, it was conforming at the time. It could have allowed it to be higher at the time. But they're separate. That's no longer in the code, but yeah, that's why they're in. That I don't know for sure. I assume there was somebody put up.
this is set back
190.
and you want to go an additional 5 to 6 feet.
We want to raise the units 4 to 5 feet. But what happens then is that they now are including the screening and the units themselves in the over height of the building. So we will be raising the height under the definition of the code today, to 86 feet, 8 inches. We did a sightline distance on our application and no, let's just put it that way. No.
It's not noticeable. My office is right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Unseen.
they're unseen.
So they put those little plastic things.
Right.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else would like to be heard in this application? Please come up and give us your name and address for the record.
How you doing? My name is Steve Lott. I actually live right behind that building.
Give us your street address.
LOTT, Stephen. 85 Grissom Way, Hopper. Basically, the only reason why I came in is because the notice said 35 feet going to 86 feet. I even called and questioned it. So basically, it has no, the 35 feet is no bearing. So that's all I wanted to find out. It's just basically from what she said, going up another 5 or 6 feet or whatever on the screen. Okay. Right behind the building.
Right.
Yeah. No. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't going anywhere.
Anyone else would like to be heard in this application?
Motion to approve the application.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Application number 174-24, adjourned from March 26, 2024. Marguerite Deans Kittles. Permission to leave shed having side yard of 2 feet instead of required 4 feet, and driveway and walkway on side property lines not having required setback of 4 feet each, having front yard occupancy of 80% instead of permitted 40%. Residence B District, south side of Bitterman Street, 300 feet west of Ferndale Boulevard, Islip.
Good evening, Ms. Chairman. Good evening, chair members. I'm Marguerite Deans Kittles, live at 28 Bitterman Street, Islip, New York.
Good evening. I don't think there's a problem with the shed or the driveway property line, but the front yard occupancy of 80%. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I live right off the highway. I have no garage. The driveway has been like that since I've been 20 years. All I did was change the rocks to pavers. So I didn't do anything differently since I moved in, other than improved the driveway.
Put a little bit of grass.
I mean, there's multiple, no, not really. Well, I have grass in the backyard and I still have the grass in the front, well, that was the complaint, that the front yard was, there were vegetation growing all over the front yard. So that's why I had it cleaned up. And there are many neighbors that does have more than 80% or just about 80% of their driveway covered with pavers, because we do live off the highway, right off the main highway. And I still have the flower beds and so.
No, it's gone up to 40.
There's nowhere to park on the street, basically.
35 went 50.
Does anyone else
You
like
do the
to hear this
math. 40
application?
goes 60. She's got a bad situation. Wait a second.
And if you could just step away and let them.
How you doing? My name's Vincent Kittles. I am currently the husband. We're in the middle of a divorce. It's a little bit complicated. I'll try and make it as simple as possible. Yes, my current address is 6 Satinwood Street, Central Islip. I have vested interest in this property. I've lived there. I'm paying the maintenance on it right now while we're going through the divorce. The house is supposed to be appraised and sold. And this is going to be affecting the appraisal and sale of the house. In addition, there used to be a gravel driveway. It wasn't that big. No work was supposed to be done to the house without the approval. I did not approve this. I tried to stop the work. She proceeded. Right, that's being taken up in matrimonial court. I'm here just to add to the fact that both neighbors on the east and west have also complained about the runoff of water flooding. And correct, and that's why I says I want to try and keep it as, and this, the additional other part is the side driveways, the side walkways and the sheer size of the driveway. The water runoff goes to both sides. To the west, that neighbor where the white car is, that spot floods at the last big storm we had. To the east, their backyard is. Yes. Yes. Correct. Right. Yes. Yeah, there's a number of modifications done to the home. Those are in matrimonial, but also there's one additional thing is the driveway when it was installed. If you notice, they paved over 5 feet from that apron is the gas main. When the the gas company came in a few years back and they installed the new gas line all the way down the block. 5 feet in is the gas shutoff. There's a subpar system that she installed in the basement. You cannot turn the gas off. They went right over the top of it. You cannot access to turn the gas off in the home. Pointed it out to them. They kept going with the work. I don't know whether it's been damaged or not. And I'm definitely against this being done the way it is and it needs to be removed. Thank you.
Quite often considers one.
So one of your issues, is anyone else would like to be heard in this?
So we do have a letter from the neighbor to the east who has spoken of the runoff that we discussed. So I was just explaining to the board that it's not uncommon for the board to grant one driveway setback of 0 where 4 is required, but it's very uncommon for the board to have the driveway go to both property lines and not have either side maintain the setback of 4 feet. So this is a bit different because we're hearing 80% occupancy in concert with a driveway right to property lines. So it really does introduce the possible problem of drainage runoff onto neighbors' properties.
My ex or soon to be ex-husband is friends with the neighbors on the side. I've been in the house over 20-something plus years. We do not own the house together. It's been a very nasty divorce. This is why I'm here in the first place. All the stuff that he's saying, it's not true. I had to have the town come in to check the gas pipe because he tried all different tactics to stop me from improving the property. He had the neighbors report to the town that I was not.
Say one thing.
Mhm.
Only what is imperative to us.
Right.
Is that it's 80%.
I understand.
It's too much.
And it's too much.
Okay.
Whether there's gas lines, runoff.
Right.
Whatever. We don't even get to that.
Right.
Tertiary.
Right.
Where I think
80%
the
he is
board is,
agreeing.
we're going to give you 60%. So you have to make 20% grass. This way, we're fair to you and fair to our code.
We'd also.
It's almost like you didn't.
Because what it is I didn't make it any bigger, any wider. It just looks that way because I did pavers. It's actually a bit smaller because now the flower beds are bigger in the front that I had before.
The flower beds in the front are not reflected either on your survey or over the property line and in the right of way. While they do look nice, I don't think they're on your property.
The flower beds? They're on my property. The two what? Oh, they're in the survey that I provided?
Yeah, the front flower bed along the street is not on, only the edge of it is reflected on the survey. So that's not, you're not even getting credit for that.
So what?
Oh, I did not know because I thought the survey that I sent, sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't. Mhm.
At the end of the day, what you need to do is get it down to 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
60.
Because if the flower beds are not reflecting, then it would be a less percentage.
Flower bed is, but the one on the side is, but you can go over this with your surveyor
Mhm.
and the town that you can call next, he's very helpful to
Right.
help you. And we can figure out how to get you down to 60%.
Right.
But our job here is just to go with the number.
And if you have flower beds that are not reflected and they will inure to your benefit, then let us.
Right, because I
let Nick
didn't,
know.
right, I didn't know
Get a
that it was, because I paid for the new survey because he was the one who made a complaint to the town. That's why I'm here, because, yeah,
Maybe the surveyor should have explained that to her.
right, he was,
Again, maybe a little bit closer.
okay.
Is this what, is this the flower bed?
Yeah, so this, your flower bed's on the east side, correct?
I have one on the left and one on the right, and then the main big one that's going up close to the property line, and then the front strip that goes in the front where the,
Just so you can step up, please.
Okay.
Take a look. I see the edge of it. Take a look what I circled. We're trying to give you the benefit. You see what I circled? That looks like a flower bed on the one side. Yeah. We don't see the flower bed on the other side. It's not in the circle.
This is.
I don't.
You have flower beds on the east.
Right.
Right.
Oh, you're not talking about the one on the street.
Oh, there's,
okay.
There's nothing on the street.
The one in the street. I don't see it.
Yeah.
so we have to go by the survey. That's.
I will ask.
Okay, so why don't we do this, Mr. Chairman? I think we're going to give you a number, I think it's 76%. You can get credit for flower beds that are not on the survey, then you may want the Simmons to update the survey to annuation. No, and you'll get credit for it, less work you have to take out. Fair enough.
Because I don't know how the driveway is gonna be now, because it's.
This, yes.
Correct.
You could put a flower bed closer to the house.
There's no parking.
I don't see the single one more than.
I don't have.
But I understand you can't just pull in straight like everybody else does.
Right, but I have my. It's changing. Always like that from the house.
Well, you know, I don't think we've ever granted. Everybody else. Yeah, right. So, I just want to say, you to make it work. So I'm not an expert.
If you look forward, you can't park. We only have one side. This is like right outside my house.
There's a long way down. Thank you. My only comment would be that considering the issues or the alleged issues with drainage at boards to grant consent, and also maybe not grant on the property line driveway. Any not on the east. Sure, but in general. If there's already going to be some removal of parts of driveway, it would be beneficial.
You might want to start by straightening that kind of.
One.
Yeah, the one on the side. On the west side.
Right, and it doesn't go, that's in there all these years.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is see how it curves in towards the property line? Creates a little point, straighten it out. That'll help you.
Oh, because it was adjourned.
Yeah, because I never got it.
Yeah, that's all.
I will make a motion.
Aye.
Thank you. I'll see if I can figure it out. That's-
Good luck. If you have any questions, you can call Nick.
Okay.
Nick, what's your last name?
Thank you so much. All right, thank you.
The only Nick that works.
Thank you.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Good night, sir. Thank you.
What you gotta start doing is handing out Billy's cards.
Yeah.
Application number 181-24, adjourned from March 26, 2024, Lilium Investor Corp. Permission to reconstruct dwelling and erect second-story addition, 24.6 by 41.1, and two-story addition, 14 by 24.6, on lot having width of 50 feet instead of required 75 feet, leaving side yard of 10.4 feet instead of required 14 feet, total side yards of 25.5 feet instead of required 28 feet, and floor area ratio of 29% instead of permitted 25%. Residence B District, south side of Moffett Boulevard, 1,953 feet west of Grant Avenue, Islip.
Good evening. My name is Lilian Cabrera. I am owner of my company, Lilian Investor Corp. I came because I bought a house, a firehouse, and I want
You could just give us your address.
my address is 86 Moffett Boulevard, Islip, New York.
Moffett. But you live at 86 Moffett Boulevard?
No, I don't live. That is a firehouse. I bought a firehouse. I want to do the second floor.
Where do you live?
I live in 32 Deer Path Road, Central Islip, New York, 11722.
All right. Now continue.
Okay. I want to do the second floor, please.
The reconstruction is in line with the. In this area, there's not board grants, but it does seem like there might be similar side yard. That are.
We have a lot of architects represent corporations. Sometimes we should maybe look at
I
that.
mean, I tried to allude to it a little bit, but it's not clear based on that's been. It seemed to me that there's a lot closer there, but I don't know if it
There are many second stories in the neighborhood, man.
¿Cuántos segundos pisos hay en esa calle?
I don't see, I have, in the front have a second floors, but I don't account how many second floor have. In the front, have a second floor. Yes, there. Yes. Is there?
Until 1988, a 10-foot side yard was permitted in residence B zoning.
Is anyone else here who'd like to be heard in this application? If you could step aside and let this gentleman speak.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Good. I'm here on behalf of my mother, Claire Good.
Where does she live?
She lives at 82 Moffett, which is the house next door.
Where do you live?
I live in West Islip. My last name is Good, G-U-D-E.
We just give you a street address for the record.
Oh, my street address is 121 Village Line Road, Babylon.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so my mom's against this. She doesn't want this house to go up higher to block the sun coming in from her window and things of this nature. Also, I think they said they were going to widen the property. You know, the house, you know, people widen the house on the property. No,
It'll be the same size as it currently is.
oh, the footing will be the same.
On the
Well,
first floor, correct?
Yeah.
well, in any event, she doesn't, you know, want the second story. And I was under the impression that that it was going to go wider. But even if that's not the case, you know, she's not in favor of it for whatever her reasons are.
Is your mother's house depicted in the photograph?
No.
Yes, so it'd be the one with the camper in the front one, in the van.
On the other side.
See it?
Yep, that'd be the house.
That's it right there, right?
Yep. Yep. You'd have to ask her. She, you know, she'd love to be here, but she had work.
You're going to make it an equity argument, huh?
Yeah, she said that it'll, you know, impede on her, you know, sunlight or whatever. And she also, you know, she thought the property was getting bigger. And I know she did have concerns with the fact that it was, you know, we could hear people cooking in their kitchen while we're in our kitchen. And she thought they were going to come closer to us. So I know that was a big concern for her. But she also, you know, she's afraid of it blocking the sunlight coming into her house or whatever. So.
Anyone else would like to be heard in this application?
Second.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Is there an appeal process, like if she was to get the neighbors involved?
If you want, you can retain an attorney and ask an attorney about whether they appeal the decision.
They would contact you or?
They would
Come
contact.
back to town, because you just approved the application.
If you approve the application, if you want, you can retain an attorney and ask.
Is there like a time period for us to get that done?
If you want, the answer, I'm just going to keep repeating the same thing. You can retain an attorney and ask an attorney what your rights are as far as appealing our decision.
You should do it very, very quickly after our decision is filed.
We have days, not weeks, is that what you tell me?
Basically, from when our decision is.
Yeah. Weeks, not months, right?
Application number 277-24, AJN Global, Inc. Permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Isoptown Code, Section 68-602, in dwelling less than 7 years in age. Residence B District, northwesterly terminus of Frank Court, 590 feet west of Coates Avenue, Holbrook.
You doing? Michael Arado, Captain Permit, 245, Group 109, Suite D, West Babylon, New York, 11704. So I'm here on behalf of the owner, Mohammed Haq, looking to establish an accessory apartment in a house that hasn't had a CO for 7 years or more. The house was purchased in the summer of 2018, so it's about 1 year shy, coming this August, of being the 7 years required. Total square footage of the accessory apartment in the basement will be 718 square feet. The town approved the parking on this already, March 5th, 2024. Apartment has necessary egress,
How old is the building?
2018. I believe it was starting to build in 2016. It was CO'd in 2018.
7 years.
It's about 1 year we're asking for.
Yeah, you know what?
Did I hand you this
Do we
one?
have a
This was
lawyer
wrong.
here on the board? When it says, yes, I'm listening to Mr. Sullivan where it says that the occupancy must be, doesn't say.
There you go.
Doesn't
Here he goes, reading statutes again, huh? Jesus Christ.
Must.
Sounds like it would kind of have to be a year.
It's almost like a command from the town,
Right.
a lightning bolt.
We're here to get around it.
Right, but you know, it doesn't.
Nope.
Most, when we grant a variance, it's a code, but it doesn't say must. I've never seen one that says must.
I don't think
So
we've
the
ever
rebuttal
granted one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you gotta understand why.
The intention?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't want
The
them-
intention was so that homes would not be constructed with the second kitchens in them.
I don't,
Is this, are you the original owner of the house?
No, I'm not the original owner. He is the original owner. He bought this house brand new.
Oh, I'm sorry, the applicant.
Yes,
The original owner.
he's the original owner.
He lives there now?
He lives there now.
my only issue is when the board says must, I think they're giving us a clear intention of what we must do. Right.
You know, there's.
So I think we should hold to the 7 years. We could have used softer language, but we didn't.
No, the CO was issued.
Doesn't he?
But I mean, what's the reasoning for the 7 years? I mean,
Gotta ask on board.
Did I not just say that?
It's so apparently, as
He
we
doesn't
just
listen.
discussed, it's so that the houses weren't built.
but that it's been built for almost 6 years now with no second kitchen.
Right, but the statute says 7, it says must.
So, I mean, the good thing is you only have to wait July 19th of 2025.
Would we be able to do it with the condition that the apartment's not rented until that date? So at least we can get the process started because it's an unfinished basement. So
We
we'd
don't
like,
have a way to monitor it.
well,
Our concern is the must. I understand it's maybe an imposition on you, but you gotta follow the law. The law by the citizen.
no, understood.
And
But
it's just,
but can we put a condition on the permit and the rental on the,
Your Honor, we can adjourn it for 15 months.
Right.
I mean, we can adjourn it for a year, but it's not helping.
Lenny, do you have any comments on this?
No, I don't have. I just can't imagine what stronger language the town board can use.
Maybe.
Must, under penalty of death.
Is there anyone else that would like to be heard in this application?
Your puppy will be, oh, that's right.
All right. We'll take them. I'm assuming would deny.
Second.
All in favor?
thank you.
Application number 278-24, Harold and Linda Schneff. Permission to leave detached two-story garage having side yard of 2.91 feet instead of required 10 feet, and height of 18 feet instead of permitted 14 feet, and shed having rear yard of 0.1 feet instead of required 2 feet. Residence AA District, south side of Academy Street, 168.4 feet west of Oakwood Avenue, Bayport.
Harold Schneff, 122 Academy Street, Bayport, New York.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So I think the big challenge here is the height of the structure.
Correct. I was unaware of it when I had done it. It's on me.
Sorry?
It's on me. I wasn't aware of it when it was built. I have neighbors that have all okayed it. My neighbors, which doesn't help. I get that.
The problem is, sir, and again, thank you for owning it right up. So many people blame
No, I'm a-
everybody on earth. Rare to have something that's unbelievable. That being said, we have denied dozens and dozens and dozens of last 18 years.
I understand that.
Unfortunately, is that if we grant this, first thing we may go. Grant accommodation. What happens is,
Totally understand. I'm not,
This is.
That's the garage, and that was the neighbor's house. They need to-
it was an existing garage that I just raised the second floor on it.
The garage is at the second floor?
It was a garage it was a garage and a half, so it was on a footprint, exact footprint. It was 14 feet. I just went up too high, not knowing. I'm an artist. That's an art studio. I run out of my basement. Excuse me?
What brought this to the town's attention?
I have a neighbor next door, I think. I don't know. It's an anonymous, somebody brought it up. I have no idea why. I never will. Well, that's a weird angle. It's an angle that I took, so it's kind of deceiving.
Shoot the side yard.
The neighbor to the west, the neighbor, every neighbor has said, no problem. I have letters stating that. You really can't see it from the road or anywhere, but I understand the precedent. And that helps.
The application is in the heights.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do think the call it's not typically something that. Nor would second stories, usually those two are. I don't have any issue with that.
And if the requirement of 10 feet came into effect because the structure, because it's 2 stories, the gross floor area exceeds 500, right? Because it's 2 stories?
Yeah, so when the second story, if the second story were to be discounted, it would then be under 500, so the setback would go to.
Okay.
Now,
You're right.
I don't know if it's.
Sometimes the board considers restoration to what previously existed on the CO if that would require a variance. Mhm.
What's the square footage of it?
It would be under 500.
So then they have to come back, but they can probably.
No, they would.
I don't know if they would have to.
But then they-
We could approve it at 2 point.
I think that's, you know.
We could approve it at 2.9 instead
Right.
of 4. Right?
Yeah.
Do we change the call to read?
That's what I
Like
was- I don't know
4?
if that makes sense.
One
If we
story.
grant it, we could put in, granted how many square feet?
Yeah, or 1 story.
1 story,
Because
less
that
than
would take care of
500
it.
square feet.
Yep.
It was 1 story originally.
It was 1.5, so it was a garage with a peak, it peaked at 14.
Okay.
So I went 4 feet too high.
As long as it's less than 500 square feet.
Yeah, it's 500 square feet. As long as it's less than
I forget what it's on the survey, I forget what,
The challenge you have is your side yard variance. If it's under 500 feet,
what do you want me to say?
we want you to keep it under 500 square feet.
Okay.
When did this happen?
What happened?
When did that thing get built?
Probably been 2 years now. Been sitting,
And everything's fair to call it a garage.
well, I mean, it's a garage, it's a garage door in the front door, it always was a garage.
You park your car in it?
Yeah, always. It's still a garage. All I did is raise the top for a studio.
Did you, just out of curiosity, did you just think you needed a permit or?
I didn't think I needed, but that's on me for sure, you know. If I'd have known that, I probably wouldn't be here in front of you.
Okay.
All right, so I'll take a motion to,
Yeah.
how do we want to select
Yeah,
it?
why don't you, I'll make a motion that we deny some application. However, should the applicant decide to decide the size of the garage, 500 square, it can remain.
On the side yard and the
On the
rear
side
yard
yard.
of like one.
Because there's a second floor, that's why you need a further distance from the neighbor? Is that what,
500 square feet.
so then it has to be further from the property, even though it was existing? Okay.
If you reduce it, you can stay where it is.
Right. So I mean, are you telling me I had to take the top down to 14 feet?
Yes, you have to take it top down.
So the top's got to come off?
No matter what.
What if it's attached to my house?
Well, if
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying I need alternatives. I mean, I can't take that top, I'm out of money.
But you can't leave it.
So what if it just stays vacant? We don't use it?
It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that, you can't leave it there. It got there because of your action.
Right.
Not right, not wrong, it's just, we can't allow you to leave it there. It's got to be modified.
So it's got to be less than 500 feet, the whole top the top and bottom, the whole.
And no more than 14 feet in height.
Right,
If you're
500
saying,
The 500 feet and 14 feet height are two separate things. You have two things going on.
so you said the garage that existed before was 1.5 stories, but it was only 14 feet in height. Usually if it's 1.5, it's a little higher than 14. Is that
Oh,
possible?
I'm assuming that, I mean, I don't have it. I'd have to look on the survey. I never measured it. It's
Yeah.
actually not 18 feet, it's 17, but for some reason they wrote that on there. You know, when I go out and measure it, it's 17 feet, but that doesn't mean anything because it's not what it stated.
Yeah. I don't think your old survey is going to indicate garage height, unfortunately. They just didn't do it then.
No, I wouldn't do the height. No. I mean, I mean, I'm not getting neighbors in trouble and it means nothing, but there are existing buildings, detached garages higher than that. So somebody had to approve it or they're not legal, which is probably the case.
Well, it's not legal, we don't have it.
Right, no matter who it is.
Yes, we did have, we had a motion. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's,
So it's denied.
Yes.
the height is denied.
Application number 279-24, Andrew Sirico. Permission to leave detached garage 15.9 by 21.9, having height of 16.8 feet instead of permitted 14 feet. Residence B District, south side of Oak Street, 333 feet east of Islip Avenue, Islip.
Tracy Rivera, Tracy's Premise 363, Terryville Road, Terryville, New York. Say your name and address.
Andrew Sirico, 32 Oak Street, Islip, New York.
Looks like we're here before you for a height variance as well. We're at 16.8 on a detached car garage. The structure's open inside. There's no heat. It's a difference of 2.8 feet. Mr. Sirico has actually consulted with an attorney because he had hired someone to do the paperwork for him, thinking that the permits were issued, not realizing that he was jamming himself up in this position. And I'm on the back end seeing what we can do to keep it. He doesn't have any issues with putting restrictions and covenants on it, that it would never be finished, never be made, never have any heat put in it, open rafters above. And I guess that's all. I know, I was waiting, I was hoping. I know. Okay.
Do you have any comments? I don't really have too much to add. That wasn't discussed in the last situation. Pretty straightforward on the height.
I know. Well, yeah, we still had to put the application in only because of the legal avenue he's going afterwards. So we needed to show, we had to use all resources to show that we were being denied for legal actions moving forward. Mhm.
Is there anyone else who'd like to be heard in this application? I'll take a motion. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, I'm recusing.
Just curious.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recuse on this application.
You want to let me know? You're on the record. You're never accused.
Application number 280-24, Eric Dennis and James Neary. Permission to erect two-story dwelling on lot having width of 24.36 feet instead of required 75 feet throughout, and lot area of 4,471.3 square feet instead of required 7,500 square feet, leaving front yard of 5.5 feet instead of required 25 feet, second front yard of 5.5 feet instead of required 15 feet, and rear yard of 3.7 feet instead of required 25 feet, and floor area ratio of 29.4% instead of permitted 25%. Residence B District, southeast corner of Lee Avenue and Fifth Avenue, Bay Shore.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the applicant, my name is John Farrell. I'm with the firm of Son Ward, Braff, Koblenz, Cascignano. Our offices are at 1300 Veterans Memorial Highway, Suite 100, Hauppauge, New York. So my client purchased this property. He thought this was going to be a very simple, straightforward renovation, put a dormer on a house and flip it. It has been anything but simple, fast, or easy. This is the third time this property has been before the board for the exact same proposal. My client's predecessor in ownership filed an application in 2019 and obtained variances to put a dormer on an existing dwelling. Yes. Sure, no, absolutely. I'm happy to defer to Mr. Workson. Yes,
We previously granted this.
yes.
How is, why are you here?
Mhm.
And how is it different?
Okay, so the only way it's different is because we retain the services of a new land surveyor. And the new survey that was produced by Lisa McQuilkin was different than the surveys that had been submitted on the previous applications. It was, well, it depends on how you look at it, right? So one of the variances, the main variances that changed are due to the same issue. The original surveyor had the lot width on Fifth Avenue as 24.36 feet. Ms. McQuilkin's survey shows that that distance is actually 23.66 feet. So it's a difference of 0.7 feet. That basically threw off all of the numbers for the entire application. I believe it was Mr. Henn, Christopher Henn, or John Henn. I honestly don't know the answer. Typically, when you deal with surveys, deviations of less than a foot are acceptable, except in the world of zoning. Because a deviation of less than a foot in the world of zoning creates a change in the width at Fifth Avenue. It creates a change in the total lot area, and it creates a difference in the rear yard slash side yard setback, and it reduced it to, basically 3.7 from 5 feet. But two of the variances actually got better. So originally, we had a primary and secondary front yard of 5 feet, and the board granted those. Now it is 5.5 feet under Ms. McQuilkin's survey. It is we are building on the exact same foundation. Nothing is changing on the foundation. It was a cape. This honestly just came to my attention today, so I didn't get a chance to look at the deed. But I would go with Ms. McQuilkin's survey 1,000 times out of 1,000 because she is one of the best in the business, in my opinion. We're dealing with, 8 inches. It's going to require actually an amendment to the application because this was not picked up by the building department either.
Would you like to read the deed to see which? Who's a good deed reader? Ed.
I think Mr. Nicolia probably has the most experience. My guess is it got screwed up by the takings, and I don't know I don't know what the deed is gonna bear out.
It's the front piece, right? It says-
Yes.
Pretty clear. It says bearing is right, distance is right.
Okay. Lenny, do you have any comments on this?
That's just my knowledge, it's just a matter of surveys, otherwise.
Yes. I have no idea. The only thing I can attribute that to is different plans examiners. The address of the property is 4 Lee. So it fronts on Lee, and it had been previously called the side yard setback. I don't know I don't believe the front door changed, but the house hasn't been lived in 15 years.
Does anyone else would like to be heard in this application?
So we do have 2 amendments. You want to
Yes,
take a stab at it? Or should I?
I'll take a stab at it.
All right.
The first amendment would be to change the relief to reduce the lot width throughout. The original, the way it was advertised is reduce it from 75 to 24.36. And we're going to amend that to reduce it from 75 to 23.66.
Well, do you want to do it
There's a
all at
part
once,
2.
And then the second relief is to reduce the lot area. The lot area changed reduced from 7,500 to 4,471.3 to 4,451.68.
Those are the 2?
Yes.
So I'll make a motion, and we change the call of the meeting to read, permission to erect 2-story dwelling on lot having width of 23.66 feet instead of required 75 feet throughout. Lot area of 4,451.68 square feet instead of required 7,500 square feet, leaving the rest of the call as it is. I'll make that motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, that motion's been made. Now we'll take a motion on the application. Second, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much. Let's go Rangers.
Thank you. Are you here on an application, sir?
It's the no-show.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, we called you a second time at 6:30.
One that missed.
Okay. So application 264-24, Vincent and Deborah Arma, permission to erect 1-story addition, 13.5 by 14.8, resulting in floor area ratio of 26% instead of permitted 25%. Residence A District, north side of Simmons Drive, 323.31 feet west of Country Village Lane, East Islip.
So Matthew Bush, architect on behalf of the owner, 2615 Union Boulevard, Islip, New York. We have a small addition going off the rear of the house for a sunroom. No change to the footprint of the house. We're building below an existing deck for a proposed sunroom. And the only variance request is an increase of floor area from 25 to 26%.
Anyone else like to be heard in this? Take a motion. I'll make a motion again, yeah. Second, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Well, come on now.
Motion for Ed, second for Ed. I mean, motion for Bill, second for Ed.
Okay, all done, Ken?
Ranger game may be in.